Hello everyone and welcome back. So this video is going to be a little bit different. I just want to warn you that what I'm going to discuss today could be triggering, so if it does trigger you, please switch off and do not watch. Your mental health is more important. This topic is incredibly important and I think it needs to be understood and talked about a hell of a lot more. I can kind of tell already that most women are going to watch this, which frustrates me because it's more the men that do need to watch this. This is not me being sexist. This is me going off statistics and also personal experience that it is mainly men. This is not categorising all men or all females. This is categorising those certain people that are ruining it for everyone. As you can tell from the title, this is me talking about what it's like living as a woman. Now, let's talk about what made me do this video in the first place. What made me think about this video is, one, it's extremely important to talk about. Two, I know so many people that have had experiences. This shouldn't even be a topic that we need to talk about, but unfortunately it is. And it's happening day to day. This will be happening to your mum, your auntie, your sister, your daughter, your cousin. So many people it happens to and you're unaware of it. So this video will be talking about rape and sexual harassment and what we need to do, what we need to understand, and how to prevent these things. Like, these are so easily prevented when you just stop and think. Think with your mind and not with your penis. So I don't want this video to come off as a rant. I want it to become educational. I've looked at some statistics. I don't want to use a lot of statistics because I know a lot of people don't believe them, they don't know who's written them, they don't know how it's come about, and etc, etc. So I don't want to use a lot of statistics. I'm going to use more personal experiences. This whole topic really irritates and frustrates me, the fact that women can't go about day-to-day life without feeling anxious or worried about something that could possibly happen to them. So a couple of weeks ago I was talking to a couple of my guy friends and I spoke about going out, and they were like, why don't you just get an Uber? And straight away I was like, I cannot get an Uber on my own anymore. And they were shocked to hear this. They were like, well, why can't you do that? And to a guy, that's something that you wouldn't even think about. And they didn't understand why I wouldn't get an Uber on my own. And there is so many reasons for personal experiences and experiences that I've heard from other people that I just don't feel comfortable in an Uber on my own. I've had a couple of experiences in Ubers where it's normally guys, I've never had a woman Uber driver. They've asked really uncomfortable questions and the tone in their voice and the attitude is just so uncomfortable. And I know this has happened to quite a few of my friends, which is disgusting. And I know a lot of people, well, straight away when I said this, they said, oh, well, that's just normal questions. They're probably just trying to be friendly. But when you're a woman in a car on your own, getting asked things like, oh, so where do you live? Where do you go to school? What do you do for a job? All of these things, asking one thing after another, and the tone in their voice is very uncomfortable. So talking to them about this, they were obviously listening and trying to understand, but they couldn't fully understand because they've never been in that situation. They were kind of like, oh, it's just a normal conversation, he's just being polite. I'm a very open-minded person. I will get into a car and I will not judge this person for being a bad person until there's something wrong or they've said something that makes me feel uncomfortable. So yeah, that is what made me do this video. I feel like a lot of men need to understand this. Also for younger girls and boys that don't really understand life at the moment, that I feel like growing up, I was taught that rape was something down a dark alleyway and it was with a stranger that is a criminal, da 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 da. We were told that's the scenario of rape. But no, rape could be your friend, your boyfriend, your family member. It could literally be anything. So I'll talk about more of that later on in the video, but that is what I want to get across. I want to get it across to make it more educational, make people understand what is actually wrong with this, the mental effect that it has on day-to-day life. Whether you have gone through it or whether you haven't, being a woman, you go out and you think of the smallest things just to make sure that you're protecting yourself and you're aware that something could happen. I know this might come across as quite a boring video, but I think you need to listen to every single word and make sure you're educated and understand the situation. I think the awareness of what it's like living as a woman needs to be understood and recognised from men. For example, something so small that a lot of men don't even realise, but this man did, and it's held me to this day. So I walked out of the house during the winter. As you know, it's very dark, very early, so it was pitch black at this point, and I was just walking down the road to move my car. It was dead silent. This road is a back road, so there wasn't very many people around, and apart from this one guy. So I walked out onto the pavement, and this guy was about this close to me, and I was walking and realised that he was right behind me, so I walked quicker and turned around, and he had crossed the road. And just by him crossing the road, he didn't need to cross the road, because as soon as I got into the car, he crossed back over because that's the way he needed to go. So he crossed the road because he knew that I felt uncomfortable with him walking behind. And that made me feel so much better walking to my car, knowing that he recognises that I'm a bit nervous and he's going to cross the road to give me that extra space. And that has stayed with me. It's the most tiniest things. When I'm in the car with anyone, actually, I mean, girls understand not to pull up really slowly next to a girl while they're walking because it terrifies them. So there's been many times that I've been in a car with guys and they've pulled right up slowly to a woman, and I've told them, you can never do that. Like, I could feel the fear in that woman. She turned around straight away, and the fear in her face was, I could just feel it. And I said to them, you cannot do that. And obviously they couldn't understand straight away. These are also the discussions that you need to have. If you have a boyfriend, a brother, a dad who has done that or does that sometimes, just make sure you have a discussion with them and make them understand that, oh, if you're going to do that, maybe pull back and wait for them to walk on a bit more. It's just the smallest things that people wouldn't actually think about that can make a woman feel so much safer walking alone. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a couple of experiences that may shock you, and I feel like and I know that many of my friends have gone through this as well, and I'm hoping that the age will shock you with what we've gone through in life. So when I was 13, I was wolf whistled at and beeped. I was 13 years old, only just a teenager, and there was drivers 17 and above beeping and wolf whistling at a 13-year-old child just because they have a little bit of skin out. You know how disgusting that is? And at that age, you think it's nothing, because schools do not teach you things like this. They do not teach you about sexual harassment. They do not teach you about rape. They do not teach you about safety of things like that. And that's what really irritates me about the educational system. Like the sex education. We were never taught properly about sex education. When my period came, I was terrified. I did not know what to do. Anyway, that's off topic. Certain things like the summer. You have to prepare yourself to go out and know that you're going to get bibbed at, beeped, stared at, just because you're showing that extra little bit of skin. For example, the other week I was literally wearing shorts just a little bit above the knee, a sports bra with a crop top on, and I was showing maybe this much tummy. I had from just above the knee to the top of my ankles out, had socks and trainers on. So that's what I was wearing. And I have a walk to the station for 5 minutes. And I was beeped at once, I was whistled at once, I then got on 4 different trains, and I was stared at, most of the men sitting completely opposite me, I was stared at completely until I looked at them, by 5 different men. And that's only the ones that I saw and looked at. And I make sure to catch them out, because it makes you so uncomfortable and it makes you anxious about why are they staring? What are they going to do next? You have to be on guard. And I know this happens to a lot of women, and this isn't just me. And that is also why I'm speaking out, because I think it is so important, and it pisses me off that a lot of men don't understand this and still do this. So, yeah, these 5 different men on different trains and in different places would stare at me until I made sure I connected with their eyes, and they would look away, because staring at someone completely is uncomfortable. Just be careful in situations like that. I just make sure to look at them, and if they haven't stopped looking, I look at them again to make sure that they know that I'm seeing them stare at me. And the only reason they're looking away is because they know that they're in the wrong and they shouldn't be staring at you and making you feel so uncomfortable. So yeah, that's just a couple of things that happened to me. There is many more, but that is just off the top of my head that I've wrote down. So let's go on the topic of understanding sexual harassment and rape. So we're all told that rape is something that's done down a dark alley, and it's always violent, which, yes, it does happen. It can happen anywhere, and it can happen in any way. It's all about consent. If the word yes, or something like yes, does not come out of their mouth, that is a no. Even if you're halfway through and they say, no, I do not want to do this anymore, and you carry on, that is rape. No is no. No matter how far in you are, it is no. You stop. And even if they've said no, and you keep persuading them to say yes, and they say yes just to shut you up, that is also rape. The sad thing about this is that I've seen a lot of situations in court cases. Not personally, I haven't been to court for things like this. However, I have seen things on Facebook, Twitter, all of these places, all these social media, that has shown that judges in court for rape cases have always blamed the woman, saying, oh, well, what was she wearing? She must have been drunk, she can still consent. All of these things that is basically backing the man, saying, oh no, it's not his fault, it must have been her fault. What was she wearing? That's the most aggravating thing about this whole thing. What was she wearing? I should be able to walk outside in nude, and men should be able to think with their brains and not with their penis. I should be able to go outside in whatever I want to wear and be completely fine. And don't get me wrong, this happens the other way around. I'm talking from a woman's perspective, and also it is most likely, and has been proven to be more likely, to be a man raping a woman. And most of the cases for men being raped or sexual harassment is normally men doing it. So a little statistic that always shocks me is 1 in 3 women have been raped or sexually harassed. So if you look around your family, 1 in 3. Okay, so I think I'm going to end this section here. So thank you very much for watching. I know it's a very different video, but again, like I've said throughout this whole video, it is such an important topic, and you need to educate yourself. And girls, if you've been in this situation, educate others around you. You don't have to explain your situation, but if you see something, put a stop to it. Even guys, don't cheer your mate on for going up to a woman, and if they say no, to keep persuading her. If you see your friend touching a woman's hip just to get round them, you don't need to touch me to walk round me. Do you touch the guy next to me to walk round him? No, I don't think so, do you? Like, it's just so unnecessary. Guys, stop your friends. Don't be that one that eggs them on. Be that one that says, that is not necessary, you need to stop. Because it starts one place and it ends in a whole different place. Once they start doing things like that, they'll start doing awful things that could affect a woman for life. Thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment and share this with your friends. This is such an important topic and it needs to be shared, and the message needs to be put across more often. Not enough words to explain how frustrating and how much it angers me, this situation and this topic, and I really hope that a lot of people watch this, understand, take in, and I'm hoping that eventually this will be put to a stop, because it's so outrageous that things like this is still happening. I hope you all have a lovely rest of the week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.